Hello, my name is Jonathan Perez, and I'm here with Paul Pacheco, Bridget Mack, Essie Kumisechi, Joseph Malo, and Thomas Brown to discuss humanity's enslavement to technology and the new metaverse. The question is, are we becoming slaves to our technology? Many would think so, arguing that technology has addictive side effects and can help increase risks of depression and other mental and physical problems. While there are downsides to technology, there are also benefits. Technology can increase the amount of contact with people outside our immediate zone of interaction, and it promotes globalization, allowing people to share their ideas and products to different parts of the world.
Yeah, and there are tech companies like Meta, formerly Facebook, that are taking hold of this idea to be globalized and connected, and they're pushing products and ideas that may do just that. In particular, Meta is pushing the new idea of the metaverse, a 3D virtual environment that takes advantage of virtual and augmented reality headsets. Mark Zuckerberg, owner of Meta, wants to create a virtual world in which business and leisure come together. This sounds a lot like a WALL-E to me.
Since it is still in its infancy, virtual reality poses an interesting ethical dilemma. Is it right to use? First question we should have are things like what consequences can come from such a development. Is it safe? I think that is unlikely, looking at the evidence.
That's right. As people innovate further towards the future, the use of screens and other devices become increased. The efforts are positive, they can also be harmful. Blue light, for example, damages the eyes and causes fatigue and other symptoms. Nevertheless, it is something people expose themselves willingly to via screens.
Now, what effect comes from placing a screen a centimeter from your eyes? It seems to me to be pretty cut and dry. It is bad. Now, for Meta's take of virtual reality, they are making an attempt to reduce such dangers, but for the current age, it is not properly equipped to be used.
I agree. With our current age, I don't believe it is properly equipped to be used either. Aside from the potential risk, virtual reality is not even a better medium of communication. The reason for this is that medical depression has increased since the invention of social media. The immediate cause of the more depressed culture is social media and other outlets, but more particularly, the lack of physical communication.
Good point. If Meta's primary design of virtual reality has motives that are for replacing the physical world, there is no positive that would outweigh the negatives. It is potentially self-damaging and can cause depression and dehumanization. Dehumanization could be a big issue in the metaverse. As more decisions are being made online, the choices people have to make are becoming more and more abstract.
Yeah, and there's a perfect example of this in Matt Crawford's example of the trolley problem. When all a person has to do is flip a switch to make a decision, the problem becomes very impersonal. When someone has to go and physically shove a man in front of a train, the situation, for many people, changes drastically. With the metaverse, situations where your actions could harm someone wouldn't seem like that big of a deal, simply because the decisions you are making are impersonal. It would be more like a video game than real life.
On top of these problems, the metaverse invades our privacy. Facebook and a number of other big-name tech companies have already been exposed for taking users' data and selling it in order to make more money. As Meta and Facebook try and push into the workplace, people will be given no choice but to hand even more of their personal data to them. This will result in the dehumanization that Matthew Crawford discussed in Why We Drive.
Oh yeah, I remember him discussing that. In it, he argues how Google takes all of our personal data and uses it to their monetary advantage. Furthermore, he explains how Google is trying to make their own complete representation of the world and how we will be robbed of discovery with more and more people using these virtual reality platforms.
What this will mean for man is that man will lose touch with reality and use these platforms as a means to escape their daily hardships. Crawford asks the question, why hike up Pikes Peak when we can access it through a live webcam?
The transition of Facebook into metaverse claims to make lives better for people by bringing people together in a unique way. Instead of interacting behind a digital screen, people can enter into a universe where people are closer together with a sense of virtual presence, making online interaction much easier.
Through the use of VR headsets, everything becomes fictional. There is no sense of the real world. A new reality is created and is controlled by the system. There is a limit on the privacy that people get as people are less connected with the real world. This will ultimately lead to soft despotism as people are more susceptible to control by tech and the lives of people are under control of the system.
That's pretty terrifying to think about, Joseph. The metaverse is a widespread attempt of harmonizing and converging the physical, augmented, and virtual worlds into one connected platform that we all live, work, and play in. But another problem with all of it is that there will be a crazy amount of censorship.
I think you're right. While there will most likely not be fully stacked corporate buildings, some would still have to exist to run the metaverse. The people in charge of these physical places could block our access from the buildings if they wanted, which would affect our life outside the metaverse, with no way of earning income.
But if the world is still scared of COVID-19 and everything is online like it has been, we will become slaves to technology and to the people in charge of the technology. They will have the power to kick us out of a new world will terrify people into conforming into anything that they want to push or force onto society.
Conformity to tech is quite possibly a terrible thing. It would lead to mental and physical problems, dehumanization, and censorship. Take this warning now and be more cautious with how you spend time on devices. Thanks, everyone. It's been a pleasure discussing this topic with you.